Hello everyone, welcome to my channel at Bet Predict. In today's video, I'm going to be revealing a particular strategy that I just discovered now, and ever since I discovered this particular betting strategy, the accuracy in my prediction are now very high. I actually posted a video about how this particular betting strategy worked yesterday, and unfortunately some people were not really happy with it because I didn't show the step to step how I got this prediction. So the strategy is just the straight winning, the double chance, and the handicap betting strategy. Actually, it is very easy to get big odds using this particular straight winning betting strategy. But unfortunately, exposing the strategy to the public can be, very risky for the accuracy, and that is what I was trying to explain to them. But fine, I'm going to explain the process in this particular video, and I want you guys to pay very good close attention to the process that is involved in this particular video. Make sure that you are not skipping any part of this particular video, and make sure that you pay attention to all the details and the information that I'm going to project to you guys. Alright, so now there are two ways in which I predict my straight winning, or in case if I want to play safe and I want to go for double chance. There are two ways that I do predict it. There are two steps and strategies that I use. So the current one that I'm using is the one I was trying to protect because of its accuracy. Because one thing that is involved in this particular betting strategy is the allocation of the odds by the bookmakers. So now when the bookmakers are able to get these particular steps and betting strategy, trust me, the allocation of the odds to teams can be influenced. So that is the reason why I've been trying to protect this particular strategy, that okay, these things should not be exposed to the public, and just advising you guys on how to go for teams on. So without wasting much of our time or talking for a long time, let us quickly run through the process of how you can predict your games as straight winning, double chance, or handicap. So don't forget, I told you guys that there are two ways in which I can predict straight winning. So I'm going to teach you one of it, and I'm going to reserve the other one because the other one is highly based on odds allocation and also the stats. So for me to expose that means I want to damage the accuracy of my VIP groups. So now let us just focus on the one that I'm going to teach you guys. That one, in case the bookmakers are able to get it, fine, and if they don't get it, fine. Now let's go. The first thing that you need to look into is the form of the teams that are involved in this particular match. So now looking at the Premier League fixtures for this Saturday games, we can see that we have Manchester City and Fulham. But if I should say that I want to predict my games on this particular game, people will say that okay, it is obvious that Manchester United should Manchester City should win this particular game against Fulham. But in games, in sport betting, and in sports in general, anything can happen. Even this particular match can end up Manchester City losing the game by just 1 goal to nothing. So that is the function of the handicap that I mostly use on games sometimes, in case I want to predict games for people that always take very high. But in case I want to easily get big odds, this particular game I'll just go for straight winning. But the only disadvantage there is just that in sport games, there are some things that can happen that you will not really expect. It can turn out that Fulham will win this particular match, but trust me, the goal difference there will not be more than just 1 goal, and that is the purpose of me predicting the games as handicap of home team 2 goals. So now if you also notice something about me predicting my games, most times straight winning, the ticket that I just showed you guys now, all the games that you guys are seeing on the screen, they are predicted on the home team to win the game. So I don't go for the away team because the home advantage too sometimes can also help the outcome of games. So without checking the stats, without doing anything, obviously this particular match should be the home team to win the game with this very small odds. Or if you want to go safe, double chance, but I'm very sure the bookmakers will not provide the market for the handicap for the home team. So this particular game, if I want to go for straight winning for the teams, I will go for Manchester City to win this particular game. So now let us look at the factors that I always consider to predict games as straight winning. So I told you there are two ways. This happens to be the old method that I use, and I'm trying to share it with you guys. But the new method is kind of a little bit complex, except for the odds allocation that you also need to consider, which is the simple part of it, but the part that should not be exposed to the public, because if it gets into the hands of the bookmakers, there can be manipulation of odds or something like that. So now let us look at the head to head, and let's see what we have. So the first thing that I always want to look into is the form of the teams that I want to predict my games on. Their form. In the last 5 games, Manchester City has never lost their game. They had 2 wins and 3 draws. And looking at the away team, they are also in good form, yes, but they also won 2 games, they draw 2 games, and they lost just one, I think based on penalty. Now look at their last head to head, which is one of the most important factors that you also need to consider. In the last 5 games against Manchester City, Fulham has never won any game, and I always do this thing. I always try to make sure that in the last 30 games, at least the home team that I want to support and predict as straight winning, I always make sure that at least they won 2 games out of it in the last 3 games that they played against each other. You must make sure that at least they won 2 games, and in the last 5 games that they played against each other, they must won 3 games. That is 1, 2, 3, at least 3 games in the last 5 games, and in the last 3 games they must have won 2 games. Okay, now let us skip these particular games, because obviously we can say that Manchester City should win this particular game without checking the stats. So I'm also going to check some games and use them as an example so that you guys can easily understand what I'm trying to say. So another games that will be considered here is under the England Championship, Norwich versus Hull, and so the odd given to the home team happens to be 2.00 odd, and for the away team is 3.52 odd. Now let us check the stats and let's see the factors that we are going to look into. So in the last 5 games of the home team, which is Norwich, they won 3 games, they lost once, and they draw just once. And in the last 5 games of the away team, which is Hull City, they won just 3 games and they lost 2 games. So obviously the home team happens to be in more form compared to that of the away team, right? And now considering the last 5 games of these two teams, at least don't forget, I always tell you guys that the team that is always in form must at least have won 3 games in the last 5 previous meetings against each other, and in the last 3 games against each other must have won 2 games. Now let's say, so this is the last 3 games and their last 5 games. So in the last 3 games that they've played against each other, Norwich has always been winning. And don't forget, you also need to consider the factors of the form. The home team that you want to support your prediction with must also be in form. If you are having the head to head like this, if you're having accurate head to head like this, something like this, okay, we said that okay, in the last 3 games, the home team has always been winning. In the last 5 games, the home team has also won at least 3 games, 1, 2, 3, even 4. Okay, but if the team is not in form, for example, what we have here, we can see that at least the home team that you want to predict your games on is really in form, though the away team too is also in form, but not as that of the home team. So you need to always make sure that you take note of that, because sometimes you can be searching for games that meet this particular analysis and it will not you may not easily get it. So you have to dedicate to that particular strategy, and don't say that okay, you are tired of doing an analysis. If you are tired, make sure you rest and continue doing the analysis again. So don't just pick games because you are tired of searching for games. So you have to always take note of that particular factors: the form, and the last previous games that they've played against each other. So at least the last 3 games they must have won 2 games, and in the last 5 games they must have won 3 games. So let us check another game. So for me, if I want to predict this particular games, I will go for Norwich to win or draw, or Norwich to win this particular game straight. If I want to risk the game the way I did the other time, I'll just go for Norwich to win the game straight up. So now lastly, I'll be looking into 2 games under the Italy second league, this and this. So we are going to look into the stats and the odds given to them by the bookmakers. So the odd for the home team happens to be 1.86 odd. Okay, and let us check the head to head. Okay, in the last 5 games of the home team, we can see that they only won just 1 match, they lost twice, and they draw twice. Now let us move on to the away team. They only won just once, and they draw once, and they lost 3 games. So obviously now we can see that the home team seems to be in a little bit form, in a good form compared to that of the away team. And now moving on to their last previous games, the home team has always been winning their last previous games against their current opponents right now. And don't forget the factors that I always tell you guys. I tell you guys that you guys should always look for in the head-to-head aspect of this particular betting strategy. You have to look into the last 3 games. At least the home team that you want to support your prediction of must have won 2 games out of it. That is the 2/3 of their last previous 3 games against each other. And in the last 5 games, they must have won at least 3 games against their current opponent. So this will help you to even have more possible outcome of winning, and the odd given to it must also be considered. You need to consider the odd, because the odd allocation by the bookmakers also have meaning. If you are seeing some teams that the bookmakers are giving big odds, teams that you are expecting to be having small odds, and you suddenly see that the bookmakers are giving them big odds, just note that something is wrong. Maybe there is a particular news or information that you guys are not really aware of. Maybe a particular key players is having injury, or something is happening within the team that the bookmakers are already aware of. So that thing happens to be something that you also need to pay attention to, the odds allocation. So now let us check the last games, and let's conclude that you guys have gotten the insights into how to predict straight winning, double chance, or handicap. So the difference between this particular 3 strategy is just that it's for the safety purpose of your ticket. So the handicap is mainly for people that want to be staking high, maybe people that are only interested in sure 2 odds. Are you getting? Maybe the people that are interested in sure 2 odds, they always go for the handicap. That is, at least if the teams that you are supporting will lose the game, they will not lose the game more than just 1 goals. Maybe the game ended up in 0-1, 1-2, 3-2, and 2-3. That is, the home team will have two goals, the away team will have 3 goals. So that is the mostly possible outcome for that particular strategy. But the common of it is double chance, because I'm going to show you guys another possible outcomes of it that are of a particular ticket that I predicted using the same strategy. So but before we move on into showing you guys how the tickets run, I will show you the last game that I also see here. Alright, looking into the match between Sassuolo and Cittadella, looking at the odd for the home team, you can see that the home team is having a favored odd. And looking at their head-to-head, we can see that the home team is actually in a very good form compared to that of the away team. And also looking at their last previous games, don't forget the factors that I told you guys to always consider. You need to consider the last 3 games. You need to look into the last 3 games. At least the home team that you are trying to support must have won 2 games out of the last 3 games, and you also need to consider the last 5 games. At least in the last 5 games, they must have won 3 games out of it. So now this particular game also is actually very good for straight winning. In case you want to go for straight winning, you can actually go for it. It's very cool. But I also want to warn you guys against something. Alright, so guys, you also need to be aware of something. Most of these games can also end up as double chance. As you guys can see on the screen, The outcomes of these particular games ended up as straight draw. Actually, these games are games that I was supposed to even predict them as straight winning for the home team, but still yet, even though the game came out so well, but it was as a result of playing them as handicap. The game ended up as double chance. The reason for the handicap is that at worst, if these teams are going to lose their game, they're only going to lose it by 1 goal to nothing. And the reason behind this is just that there are so many factors that can influence the outcomes of games. I'm going to show you guys something right now. There is a particular game that I know that if you guys are going to predict it, surely you are going to predict it as double chance. This is the game. Portland Timbers and versus Austin FC. Actually, the game ended up away team winning the game. The away team was allocated with the odd of 5 odd, and the home team was allocated with the odd of 1.54 odd. Okay, now this is the outcome of the game. The home team actually lost the game. If I want to play these games, I will go for home team to win or draw, and at worst case, I will give the home team the handicap of 2 goals, because that is the, like, at least at most, the worst outcome of the games. Because if you look at their head to head, you can see that at least the home team is in form compared to that of the away team. And even during the match, if we check the stats, the home team had 28 goal attempts, the away team had just 7, and the home team had 11 shots on target. But unfortunately, they were unable to convert any of these 11 shots on target. So in sport games, anything can happen. So you have to be careful of how you stakes on games. So in case, the most safety part of this particular strategy is for you to go for handicap in case you want to stake so high on it. Because if you look at this particular game also, they are head to head in the last 5 games. In the last 3 games, the home team actually won 2 out of the last 3 games, and out of the last 5 games, the home team actually won 3 games at least. So I want you guys to always make sure that you make use of the handicap in case you want to play safe, but in case you want to take the risk and get your big odds easily, you can go for the straight winning or the double chance. But I will always advise you go for the handicap for the safe play, and you go for this straight winning for risk play. So thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video, and don't forget to join us on our VIP WhatsApp group. I'm going to drop the link to our WhatsApp VIP group. I'm going to drop it in the video description and also in the comment section. So in case you want to join us, but I want you guys to take note of something. I call it VIP group, so it is not like probably for maybe for general stores. It has some membership requirements, so that it won't be like when you get into my DM you start saying that, okay, you didn't tell us this. So it is basically VIP. So in case you are joining the link, you note that there are some membership requirements that you need to meet. So thanks for watching. See you guys in the next video content. Bye.